Well, here I am, continuing on with my fat quarter disappearing, I guess it's called disappearing 9 patch, but it's the 9 fat quarters sewn together and then divided, split apart 2 different ways. And I decided then to put borders on it. I've cut my borders here. I decided on a 2 inch. Actually, I cut 2.5 inches. It's going to be a 2 inch border. Trim around the quilt first, and then a 4 inch border in addition to that. And then I'll start sewing it together. You don't have to have borders. I think on every single quilt that I've done, I've put borders on of some sort. Some have been wider than this. I don't think I've ever put anything more narrow than a 2 inch border of some sort. It kind of helps to frame what you've put together. I like the look of it, but you don't have to have it. It's all up to you. When you do your own quilt, whatever you do, whatever colors you choose, whatever pattern, however you want to put it together, that's totally your choice. This is a work of art that you're creating your own way. Yes, there are lots of patterns out there, lots of pattern books as well, and people that will instruct you on how to do different patterns. That's fine. But you know what? I always tend to put my own touch to it somehow. It may not be exactly what the person who has done the pattern has put out, but it's based on it very heavily. I just put my own touch to it. That's how I do it. So let me show you. I've got the quilt hanging up over here, the quilt top, I should say. And I'm going to just maybe hang a strip or two and show you how this is going to play out. And then I'm going to get busy and sew the borders together. I almost forgot what they were. They are borders. I'm going to get sewing them together so that I can put them on the quilt. Okay, the quilt top. So let me take you over and show you what I'm talking about doing. And yes, it is still hanging. It has not moved too much. But let me show you here if I can. I'm going to do it this way. Okay, that'll give you an idea of what this will look like when it's all done with the borders on it. Okay, framed in these 2 colors, and this color kind of matches the purples in here. The blue is totally different from the rest, but I thought the colors blended in well. The backing is going to be the same color as this piece on the back, and then the binding is going to be that same color, so it'll pull it all together. Okay, let me get sewing on it. All right, I'm going to start with this, sewing 2 pieces together, and they're about 24 inches, but you can sew this together however you want, even like just putting right sides together and sewing straight across. I don't do it that way though. What I'll do is put right sides together and then I'll angle it just from a certain point here. I'll show you. And to the corner. I'm going to take my first 2 pieces of border and sew them together. This is going to be long enough to go on the top and the bottom of my quilt top. And you can sew these together different ways. Some people will go like straight across. I've never done that. I will angle it. Actually, how you start out is crisscrossing. Right sides together, make it form like that. And Let me show you here. I'm going to pin it. It'll maybe kind of show you what I'm talking about until I get it stitched. I have the pins going in the direction I'm going to be sewing, and then when I'm all done, I'll flip it open and press it, and I'll have a diagonal. See the diagonal there where I put it together? To me, it's just a neater look. It doesn't matter. It's all up to you, however way you want to do it. I choose to do it this way. So let me get going on it. And there you go. The first one is put together. In the back here, you have a little gap of material there. Just take your scissors and whack it off, like about 1/4 of an inch seam. And then, there you go. And what you're going to do is press the seam so it's flat, and then put it around your quilt. Okay? Let me get working on the rest of them. I have pressed my seam here on the strips that I sewed together, and the center point is actually where you sewed it together. Here I placed a pin just for the heck of it. I mean, I know that's the center point, but then you find the center point on your quilt top, where you're going to place this piece of this strip of material. And the center point on this, you know, you just fold it in half, like so. And my center point is right here, and I did place a pin to show me where that is. Right sides together now, you're going to place your first border to the quilt. Get it ready for sewing. And you do these one at a time. But I'm going to do the top part of it here, and then I'm going to move to the bottom and do the other border there before continuing on. Let me get that going. I've got my first border all pinned on here, and I just wanted to address something here to show you. Can't really tell on this one. Let me pin that a little bit better. When you come to these seams on the quilt top, you want to make sure that they lay flat, okay? And you're going to stitch them flat all the way across. There aren't that many seams on the quilt top here that you're going to be coming across, but when you do, you want them to lay as flat as possible. So, yeah, just go ahead and I pin over them and make them flat, as it just kind of is a signal to me to know that I need to make sure it's flat. You got that? All right, let's get this first one sewed on. I have the bottom and the top border on. I'm going to press this and then go to the sides. I just wanted to bring you back and show you what having the first border does, how it frames the quilt top. Like I said, you don't have to have the borders on here, or you can have a thinner border if you want, but having a border on here, to me, it just helps frame the piece. This is the first border, and usually it's the thinner one too. However you want to do it. But I have the blue on here. Let me pan the camera here so you can really kind of see better. You can really tell at the top here a little bit and down the side. And all along the bottom. So your first border is just going to frame the piece, basically. And now I'm going to put the second border on. I have the borders on, all of the borders, and the blue border I put on ended up being like 2 inches in width, and then the dark rose or purplish colored border I put on was 3 inches total. So that added about 5 inches more to the quilt all the way around. So now we move on to the next step, and that is putting it together and quilting the top. Hi everybody, welcome to Deb's Way, and I am Deb. You are here today with me enjoying another hashtag Tea Tuesday. And right here I just have some warm tea. It's not real hot. It's cooled off. It was hot tea. Brewed tea. I just did some Lipton's tea and brewed some, a cup for me. And then I just let it cool as I drink it. And yes, I'm back in my sewing room again today. I'm not doing a lot of sewing. I'm doing a lot of prepping. I have my quilt here, my quilt top, on the ironing board, and I'm giving it a really good pressing. Because the next step is going to be doing the sandwich layers, is what it's called, where you put the backing material and the batting material and then this quilt top all together. You pin it together and then put it on the machine to sew. To quilt it all together is what it's called. Right now today though, I'm just prepping it for all that. And I'm going through pressing down my seams for the final put together, if you want to call it that. And also getting rid of a bunch of little threads here and there. Little threads, annoying little threads all over the quilt top. It just happens. Some of them are just loose in there, some of them are hanging tight. So I have my little nippers here, my little thread nipper. It's become an invaluable tool, very, very handy for little jobs. But when I come up to a thread that's actually stuck, I have to, put on the glasses and dig in. But until then, I am just pressing, and I'm using my bottle of water here to make it steam. I thought about getting a new iron. I've seen a lot of people on the sewing shows and that using these beautiful steam irons that you don't have to set them on end like this on your ironing board. You can put them all the way flat and then they prop up. And I thought that's really cool looking. I don't know how much they cost or anything. I would imagine they cost a small fortune. But I don't know. I haven't really looked at them in the stores. I just think they're kind of neat to have. Who knows? Maybe one day I might have one. Maybe not. I do just fine with my steam, with my bottle of water, making my own little steam, But anyway, yeah. It's a very nice day here in Central Florida. We're having wonderful temperatures. Except it does cool off yet at night. It does cool off at night. But as soon as the sun comes up, it's really, really nice and warm. It's not humid. That's the beauty of winter down here. Summer, now that's another story. When, hey, it's hot and humid both day and night. Downright miserable, actually. But anyway. Yeah, I decided just to come back here and start the ironing process. I'm not going to have a chance to sew until, well, not for a couple days yet anyway. But at least I'll have this all ready to go. And as I showed you at the beginning of the video here, I came back here the other day and I put my borders on all the way. And it really did increase the size of this quilt. I don't know the dimensions yet. I don't worry about that. I just make sure I've got enough material to do the job I want to do. Now, if I was fitting a certain bed size, that'd be a different story. You know, I'd have to be measuring and making sure that I have enough coverage. But this is just a lap throw. And it's going to be a good size lap throw, but yeah, it doesn't have to be a certain size by any means. Okay. I came across a thread that is pulling off, so no need for glasses yet. I think that's coming real soon though, because one thing you have to do is make sure you don't cut into your material. Then you've just messed up your whole quilt top. I speak from experience on that. Yeah, it happens to the best of us. You know, you just kind of get going and doing things the way you want to do, and you think you're being careful, but whoops. And then you cut into your quilt, and more, it's kind of like impossible to fix. So unless you want to tear things apart to do a repair, you be careful when you're snipping those threads on top. Yeah. So today's Tea Tuesday, and we didn't do too much today, really. We did some grocery shopping. Got a few supplies. But you know what? Even though it is just a few or whatever, it never fails. We never make it out of that grocery store without spending well over $100. It was close to $170 today. And I got sandwich meat, but there was no real big meat that I bought. I didn't need to buy it, but still, you know, that's... And yes, I noticed even more, there were empty shelves, and the store has rearranged some of their storage shelves, or rather the store has rearranged their aisles. So it looked kind of strange, but I don't know. I guess I'm just thinking that maybe they're stocking up on certain stuff and putting it out in whatever aisle they can for people to buy. Because they put brawny paper towel, a lot of it, in the same aisle as canned goods. They never have that in that aisle. I mean, I've shopped there for what, over 8 years now. They've never had things so weirdly rearranged in their store. But there may be a reason. So, anyway. I am going to continue on here and finish pressing and snipping on my quilt top. And then it will be close to supper time, and I'm going to start making a new dish to try. It's kind of a Spanish casserole in a way, and he doesn't really like casseroles, but this does not have a lot of stuff in it, so I thought I'm going to give it a try. I'll bring you along when I make it later on, okay? Hang in there, grab a cup of tea, come along and join me, and enjoy the day. I've got a bit more ironing to do, so I'll bring you back. Tonight, I'm experimenting. Yes, I am. But I'm making just a small dish. I will link the Facebook video somehow. I don't know how, but I'll, give the information in the description below. I'm just making a small Pyrex glass. What does this say? It's a little 6-inch. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Little 6-inch glass Pyrex pie plate of this Spanish casserole. And what you do is you use the crescent rolls and you're going to line the pie. Let me bring you around here and show you what I've got going so far. I've got onion that I'm going to cut up and fresh tomato. That's going to be the garnishment. And I have sour cream also. That's going to go on the top of all this. But the ingredients, you take your crescent roll dough and take it apart. I'm not going to be using too many of these in this small pie plate, but that's okay. You're going to put them in the pie plate. And I'll show you in a minute here how I'm arranging it. It kind of becomes like your pie dough. Well, I may be using the whole roll of crescent rolls. How many's in this one? It's an 8-ounce package. Eight crescent rolls. And it looks like I may even just be using that many in this little dish. Yep, that's okay. Okay, let me show you what I've got going here. I kind of squish the dough down in the plate, but you've got it arranged like this. And now I'm going to fill it. My salsa, where's my salsa? Here we go. No, I cannot open it. All right, need to get my handy dandy opener. I call this my handy dandy opener. It's a very useful kitchen tool, let me tell you. Okay. Open my jar of salsa. The salsa is going to go in a little bit first. Just kind of spread around on the dough a little bit. Okay, now the hamburger. You brown your hamburger up, and then I'm just going to spoon it in here. Ginger's down here. My sous chef is down on the floor here saying, yes, I'll take some of that. Let's see here. I want to do a little bit more. And now how I'm making this is just a little bit different from how the people that put the Facebook video out, how they made theirs. But it's the same idea. Okay. Okay, hamburger's in. I'm gonna put some more salsa on top. Spread this around a little bit. Just a little bit more. Okay, that should be plenty. And then what you're going to do is take these little strands of the dough and put it over the meat mixture. Okay? So it makes kind of like a pie crust on top, actually. So you have kind of like a little, I don't know, taco pie. And then on the pastry itself, you're gonna just mix up 1 egg in a bowl and do a little egg wash on the pastry. That'll help brown it. Okay. And you put it in the oven at 375 Fahrenheit and bake it for about, well, I'll check it after 20 minutes, but 20 to 30 minutes, we'll see what it looks like then. I just took it out of the oven. Look at that. I'm impressed. Now, one other thing you could have done, or I could have done, is put shredded cheese in here. I did not. I didn't want a lot of melted cheese, but I'll put it on top when I put it on a plate. But doesn't that look good? I think so. And I've got my diced up onion and tomato and sour cream and the shredded cheese here to put on the plate when I scoop it up. Let me get doing that. Do you want to try it, William?
Well, maybe a bite.
Just a little.
Are you still taking?
Yep. Now I have to figure out how to slice this, actually.
Well, when it's warm, it may not slice good. Like pizza, when it's warm.
I got my utensils ready. I'm just going to cut it in half. It smells good. Basically, I think that's the pastry that I'm smelling. Okay. Ooh. Let me put some cheese on stuff on top. A little bit of onion, a little bit of tomato, and shredded cheese. Okay. Supper's ready. Hope you're all having a good one out there. You take care, and we'll be talking to you again real soon. But for this Tea Tuesday, it's over with for now. Bye. Sour cream on top, just a little bit.